This is Non-Monogamous Mark, and I thought I'd make a little video today. I'll make one inside to show you where I live inside, and I'll make one on the outside here as well. I'm going to talk a little bit about the fire here in Ventura, California, or Ventura County, and that it really has devastated many of the areas here. Today it is day 3. The fires started Monday afternoon. It's Wednesday today. Today the winds died down. The winds have been gusting in an area of 30 to 50 miles an hour, constantly about 30 miles an hour, gusting up to 50 for a couple days, and that's what caused these fires. Starts with a little spark, and then suddenly the fire is just goes from just a little fire in one spot where you can put it out with your foot, and so suddenly you've got the fire that's engulfed a whole lot, like a residential lot, and then it moves on to having a whole block, and then an acre, and then 10 acres, and 20, and then now up to tens of thousands of acres. I don't know how many acres now that it has engulfed. And most of the neighbors around me have been evacuated. We are in a neighborhood here just down the street from us is Government Center, where the county government here has a large complex where they operate all of their government functions from, and I kind of think that they placed that building there strategically, knowing that this is one of the areas that remains just a really safe area. We don't get a lot of the hazardous conditions here that some of the other places in the area do. But the air today, because it's not windy, and so the last several days, if I were to come out here yesterday, for instance, you would have seen these trees just blowing back and forth all over. But you would have also seen the sunlight coming out, and it would be bright and sunny outside, like it normally is. Well, that's because all the wind was blowing all of the smoke away from where we actually live. Now today, the wind is not blowing, and so the smoke is settling in and settling down. And so now I'm going to go ahead and first show you just right there. That's where I live, right there, and it's a condominium unit. Kathy and I rent one room there in that condominium unit. It's a 3-bedroom condominium, 3-bedroom, 2-bath, and so we rent one room and then have use of the bathroom and common space, living room, dining room, and kitchen facilities. And I'll show you our room a little while later. But then I'm going to just go ahead and slowly scan around. And I don't know if it really shows up that clearly in the video, but how hazy it is. Now you can see it a little more as I show you down the street there, that normally, again, that's very clear and bright and sunny with, sunny blue skies. But you see it's very hazy, and that's all the smoke that's come in. And so I'll come back here with a video a little bit later, and I'll show you also down where we live, our actual room. And it is late in the day, it's 4:22, and so the sun is starting to set, and of course the haze, the smoky conditions are just creating a filter for that sun that just makes it incredibly beautiful. And it's just unfortunate that it comes in such a disasterly situation with all the fires that are happening in the area. And so there's the sun over there. I hope that you can really get a good idea of how pretty it is. I don't know if it shows up in the camera or not, how pretty it is, but it really is putting out a beautiful glow. And so we'll go ahead and film a little more later. There's the government center over there, and here in Ventura, in the month of June, they have what they call June gloom. And that's kind of up and down the central coast here in California, along the coastline, coastal areas and towns. And June gloom is where, particularly in the mornings, you just have this fog and this cloudy condition, and it just kind of rolls in from the sea, and you then have everything looking just like it is looking right now, but it doesn't smell quite the same. And so we live about a 5 minutes drive from the beach, and so we live in this area that it doesn't seem to get as much June gloom as other areas. We can see it mostly just in the mornings, and it burns off fairly quickly. But much of the area that is close to shore, you get this June gloom, and where it's just like this. It's hazy and it's cloudy and foggy. And it's like that throughout most of the day. And here in Ventura, the sun sets early, so like in June, it sets probably about 7 or 7:30, and so then you've got the gloom that goes on for the month of June, and it lasts most of the day. And when you're right on the coast, but about 5 minutes, like where we're at, 5 minutes inland, and you don't see nearly as much of the June gloom because it burns off in the afternoon. But you can see though all of this smoke has really created just a June gloom type look, but the outdoor air quality is not good because of having it being smoke instead of just fog. Okay, we're about a half a mile from my home, and this is called Telegraph Road. Everything on the right is people still living there, and everything on the left is where people have been evacuated. Now, people have been allowed to come into certain areas just to check on the things in their homes, but they've evacuated the whole area. So right there is an orchard of crops, but some of these streets will have a lot of homes on them. They go into neighborhoods, and all these neighborhoods are evacuated because of the fire. In fact, just as we turned onto this road, my camera went off at that time, but as we turned onto this road, then look up the street and you saw the flashing lights of, I'm going to guess it was probably either the police or the fire department, and they're making sure that people don't go down that road unless they are going down that road and have authorization, to check on their homes and things like that. But they're really making sure that people are staying out of these areas. Right today, as I mentioned, the winds have died down, and the fact that the winds have died down, it kind of gives people this sense of false calm. Like, okay, the fire's, it's not danger, danger's over. But of course, people who live here, they know. The new people like me, then it's all new. But the people who've lived here, and like Kathy, she grew up in Santa Barbara, just 30 minutes from here, and so she knows what this is like. She's been through a couple of these kinds of fires in her life, and so people who live here, they know that, like the winds died down today, they're expected to return tomorrow, and when they're called Santa Ana winds, and when those winds return, that fire is going to start to kick up and take off again. And all it takes is because things are so dry, they have had a lot of drought here, and so things are so dry that all it takes is a little ember to be whipped up by the wind and be carried 50 or 100 or 200 feet and land in a tree. You can see all the trees around everywhere, and land in any one of these trees, and that tree catches fire, and then you've got a whole new area that starts to take off and starts to burn. And so that's how these fires in California spread, is that these winds that just pick up, and they pick up a spark or an amber, and then they land somewhere, whether it be in a tree or somewhere where, because everything's so dry here, that they can land just nearly anywhere. They didn't get the rains this summer like they were hoping that they would get some rain and keep things a little greener and from getting too dry. But no, things are really dry here right now, and so it just takes a little bit, and it really sets things on fire, and then there's just nothing that can be done. And so there are back. I don't know where they are, and you can go on. I'm not going to show you footage of neighborhoods that are burned down or anything like that, but you can certainly go online. Even the Weather Channel, that's a great place. You can catch some great footage. You'll see that the news crews have gone out there and reported on these whole neighborhoods that have burned down. And so this video, just it's not going to be that dramatic, showing you the actual fires that are burning. It's just to kind of show you the area and tell you a little bit about what's going on. I mean, I'm an outsider. I live in Seattle, and I also live here in Ventura, spending half my time each place. I'll be headed back to Seattle actually tomorrow, flying from Los Angeles to Seattle, and I'll be in Seattle for a week, and then I'll be coming back here and be spending about a month here through the holidays. But you can see, like over there, there's the hillsides, and those hillsides is, of course, what gets burned and charred first, and the wind just kind of whips through the valley area. And it's hard to see the hills because of the smoke, but the wind just kind of whips through this valley and just makes the fire spread so fast. New housing area. This really is a beautiful, wonderful area and place to live, Ventura, California. I love it here so much more than I ever thought I would, than I expected to. Kathy and I just moved here not even a year and a half ago, a year ago and 3 months ago, and so I really have enjoyed learning about the area, but also just living here is just a beautiful place to live. And so it's somewhere that obviously right now there's some new houses here going in, and you can come and check them out, and who knows, maybe this will be your home in the future. But just be aware that there are these Santa Ana winds, and these fires have happened. Of course, this year has been the worst year in California history for the devastation and property damage that these fires have caused. And so it's just been a really bad year. I kind of have a little bit of a different take, though. I just mentioned in the comment that it's really been a bad year, and I hate to kind of put negative energy out, because in reality these fires are part of the process of creation and recreation. And even when in Seattle, I was in South Seattle when Mount St. Helens blew, and that was, they call it a devastation. And yet, this is all how nature works, to keep things growing and keep things created. And so, I just have to really leave it into the hands of nature and say that, this really can't be all that bad. Yes, the bad part is that people are devastated. Like, for instance, Kathy's, lost income this week from not being able to be out making money. And many people have done in that same place. They can't go to their jobs. Some people will go ahead and get paid anyway. We don't have a situation where we do anything where we get paid unless we show up for work. And so, we will go without income this week, and possibly next week. We just have to see how things go. Okay, well, I'm back home now, safe and sound in my room. Kathy and I were having a conversation at breakfast this morning. We're talking about, or at least I was talking about, that, as I've mentioned on videos before, that it's so freeing and it is so liberating to have less stuff. My video that I made yesterday was about living with less stuff. Not like less income and less money or doing less things. It's just having less stuff. You feel so much freer, and it unobligates you so many different ways. You got less stuff to care for and take care of and store and house and all this stuff that goes along with it. And so we were talking this morning, and it's great having just enough stuff where when you need to evacuate, that you can kind of get out of Dodge in a very short period of time. And I really think it's wonderful to be able to not have so much stuff that you can't put it all in your vehicle. Kathy and I, we could load everything that we needed to take with us. Yes, we wouldn't get everything in, so we have furniture items as well. But everything that's really, it's important, that we really serves our life, that we enjoy about our life, we could take and pack it all in our vehicle and in a half hour's time and be off. And so I'm going to go ahead and show you around our room, because it doesn't take a lot of space. Let me just grab my camera here. And I'll show you a little bit about the room then. We live downstairs in the condominium building that I showed you from outside. And so there's the stairs right there. And then, there's the door that goes to the closet, and then a dresser. Kathy's brother is a musician who's got a couple gold, platinum albums and stuff. So those are items that we would be taking with us if we got evacuated, because those are something that are really special to Kathy. Her brother's gold and platinum albums and things like that he's gotten awarded from the the record company. And so then, of course, our bed, and there's Kathy over there working away, and then we've got just a little book stand and a bookshelf and another bookshelf, and then back here to the area where I work, and that's just my little workstation. And Kathy, she uses the workstation when I'm not here or not using it as well, and so it doesn't take a lot of space in order for us to be able to really enjoy the life that we have. I hope you enjoyed this video today, and as I said in the beginning, I'm Non-Monogamous Mark, but I forgot to tell you that I am the co-founder and executive director of the nonprofit business of Non-Monogamous Lifestyles Association. And so I went ahead and I putting a link on in the description here of this video. And I hope you'll go ahead and click on that link and get on our email list. Getting on our email list, you'll be kept up to date then, getting more information about Non-Monogamous Lifestyles Association, also Non-Monogamous Mark myself. You'll find out a little bit about how I came to start this association and things of that nature and what we're about. So I hope you'll get on our email list, and thank you very much for paying attention to my video today.